All right. Welcome to another edition of Vegas Badboyz of podcasting. I'm your host, DJ Impact, and I got the Badboyz here with me. It's good to see you all this evening. We just finished with WrestleMania Backlash. And, wasn't bad. I mean, the way to get to the end, but well, I don't know. Listen, that's just where I come from. You guys may think differently. Let's just start it off right quick. You had your Raw Women's title. First off, before I even go there, we want to thank everybody who is logging in and tuning in. If you have any comments, questions, anything you want to throw them into the chat, and that's Facebook chat, my messenger, and we will try to get it in as we can. All right. So with that, we started with the Raw Women's title. Rhea Ripley, Asuka, and Charlotte. Rhea did retain. Any shocks there, guys? Anything out there that you want to throw out there to the people?
I mean, it was a good match. I found it to be quite enjoyable for not having great matches during Raws most of the time. You know, I mean, I always felt like they're trying to find their footing and compare it to like SmackDown sometimes in what they show. But I enjoyed seeing, the three of those women kind of tear it up. I mean, it was entertaining.
Yeah. But no shock in the overall. Oh, go ahead, man.
Yes. Yeah. I was completely shocked that they kept the title on Ripley. I mean, I was.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Oh, completely. I thought for sure that they would have, somebody defeat her for the title, be it Charlotte or Asuka, probably just based off of storyline and what they've been kind of feeding into. I thought that Charlotte Flair was winning the title tonight for sure. So I was very pleasantly surprised that she didn't.
Yeah, I think the only difference though is that if you look at what they've been doing with Charlotte and Sonya, basically giving her this and that and the other, there's more of a build going on there. So this loss will lead to more of, making Charlotte more of that ultra heel, making Sonya more of that ultra heel, and probably lead to Charlotte taking the belt, but it won't probably be until, next month or the month after, maybe even SummerSlam. And ironically enough, the most talked about thing about this match was the fact that Charlotte was wearing an ode to Cruella de Vil's costume.
Yeah, it was very Cruella de Vil-ish.
Yeah. Internet went crazy about that. I was like, okay.
It's so funny how they'll go crazy over something like that, but it'll be something else, and it's just crickets or cicadas in this instance, what we've had on the East Coast.
Well, it was better. It was better this week for her than it had been when she got shit for supporting Gal Gadot's tweet about Palestine and that conflict. That blew out of proportion really.
Wait,
fast.
She commented on that?
Oh yeah, she did. And then she retracted it in saying that, I didn't understand what was being said.
Right. That's why you keep your mouth closed.
Well, that proves she knew what she said. When you have to come out and say you didn't know what you said, you knew what you said.
Yeah.
You knew what it meant. Plus, she works with Sami Zayn. So if she didn't know that's it's the Palestinian conflict that has been at the heart of things with him, then boy is she clueless. So yeah, she's had an interesting week.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens going forward with her. We had next was Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode versus the Mysterios. And at one point, it looked like Dominic wasn't going to make it. but somehow he made it to the ring, and WWE got what they wanted: the first father and son tag team champions. You guys excited about that?
It would have been better if it was somebody else. And no disrespect toward Rey Mysterio and Dominic. I mean, I'm happy that they got that accolade. Yeah, but there's other father-son duos that if WWE would have maybe looked at, that would have been cool down the road. How else would you introduce Dominic to the fans if not through his father, out of curiosity? There isn't. That's why it went that way.
Wait. He's already been introduced. He's been fucking part of the company for over a year now.
It's true. He got in the beginning of COVID, or a little bit before COVID, I remember, right? Because they were doing that work with Seth.
Yeah.
But most of his work for the year was with Seth. So yeah.
So who do you put the title on? That's the father and son.
Well, that's why I said later on down the road, like years or whatever. I'm just saying I felt like it was pushed. That's just my opinion. I just feel like it was pushed. WWE seems like they're in the business of making history. So they're probably going down in history. What haven't we done before? Let's see what we can use. They
had Dusty and Dustin at the same time.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I'm all for it, actually. I'm good, because that just means that we are progressing to what needs to be the incident where Ray loses the titles and Dominic turns heel on his dad and ends up retiring his dad. That's the end game that we are in the middle of right now. So I'm all for giving them the titles. Let them have a nice little run with it. And then, split them up, and then the real fun starts.
Yeah. Can we trade Dominic to AEW? Is that a possibility?
I can't speak for them. I can't speak for anybody. So
the way Dominic could actually be better than a lot of the talent on AEW. So why would you want to put him there?
Well, you know what? Because they need at least one person who can carry a show.
All right, we'll jump on that a little later. Let's go.
Well, can I ask a real quick question? Did anybody at the end, when they won their titles and they showed the preview of Dominic doing the frog splash, and one of the announcers says, "Oh man, I know Eddie Guerrero somewhere up in heaven looking at them," I immediately inserted, "That's my son." Anybody else?
Yep.
It just goes to show how old we are.
That's true. It's true.
because if you're under a certain age, you
have no idea what the fuck that means. You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. The Miz, Damien, in the Army of the Dead, Lumberjack. It's different, right? It was different.
You know what you sound like? You sound like that's what's being said when you have a bad hookup and a girl has a bad hookup with a dude, and he was like, "Hey, how was it?" It's different. It's different. I'm just saying, it sounds bad.
Here's the thing: Steve should not be pissed about this, because at least AEW got talent on their on the WWE TV.
Really? I mean,
what were the auditions for that part? Do you want to be a zombie?
Well, you know what?
I think it's really funny that this probably came about because Vince McMahon was like, "Oh, well, how can we give back to the fans and give back to the WWE universe? Oh, well, they're a bunch of fucking zombies. Ha ha ha. We'll have them in the main event." Dude, the shit just blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Yeah, but you're coming out of a perspective that this was an idea that Vince had. This was not. This was obviously the corporation that is now fucking running the WWE. That's, hey, we have a movie coming out with one of your ex stars. This is what we want to do. How much more? How much more? Tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop. That's all that fucking was. I mean, the fact of the matter is Damian Priest shot an arrow and then the logo of the fucking film comes up. So that's all it was. The only thing that pisses me off is that when Morrison was dragged behind the barricade, they fucked up. They should have had that go on a little bit earlier, and then he should have reemerged as a zombie.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Been Johnny drip.
Yeah, but then where were you at going from there? He's gonna show up on Raw back to Johnny drip.
Oh, come on. They did the same thing on NXT with the referee. It's I mean, you gotta disconnect from reality a little bit.
If you tune into our 3 count, we'll talk about mystical and magical things happening in wrestling. So
all right. Well, Damian Priest did win that match. So hey. Did you want to add to that, City? I will go to the next.
No, man. No.
Okay.
What the hell, man?
All right. Bianca Belair and Bayley. Now, man. Bayley, man. You know what? Because Bianca needs to have her run, I tell you, I would not have had any problems of Bayley just getting that title. Not right now, but I'm just thinking like, man, she's just so entertaining. You know what I mean? She's just great. And
but D, the main thing and the main point of this whole thing is that Bianca Belair is a fucking cheater. It's very simple.
Well, I tell you one thing, she definitely had to tell Cole, she had to write on Cole's notes to play back so that we could take a look at what happened. And that didn't happen. So because we didn't get to see the playback, if you missed it, there's a good chance maybe Bianca's not a cheater. She might be a cheater in your eyes because you saw it actually happen, but maybe someone else didn't actually see when it happened.
No, don't make any excuses for that cheater. She's been using that weave to cheat for the whole time she's been in WWE. That thing should be illegal. Mm-hmm. It should not be allowed in the ring. That's like allowing Bob Orton to wrestle with a cast on.
Wait, but that's her hair.
That is not her hair.
Okay, do you want to have a discussion about if a black woman, that's her hair and not her hair? You want to go there, you go there. As far as I'm concerned, it's her hair.
And also, too, if you're watching the match, she clearly said, "Don't touch my hair." Another thing, you don't ever touch no black person's hair at all. It is not shit for you to just touch.
There's rules to this shit, man. I'm trying to help you out, man. I don't want you to get in trouble.
It's a bullwhip.
It's hers. It's hers. It's her hair. She bought it.
Must have used Gorilla Glue to put that fucking thing together, man.
All right, man. I can't save you, man. I can't save you.
Oh, man. Well, anyway, great match, though, between them. And yes, Bianca retained that belt as she should. But let's move over to the match that we all really cared about. And shout out, I see you in the chat, Chris. Thanks for hanging out with us. He's got a few lines he's throwing out there, but we'll get him in a little bit. Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman. Yes, WWE Championship. What do you guys think about that match right there? Man, I gotta tell you though. I mean, for 3 big guys, I mean they was tearing it up.
Yeah, it was fucking Hostlemania. I mean, you had a whole lot of beef in that ring, and they were beating the shit out of each other.
Right.
And seriously, 3 dudes just throwing each other around, beating the shit out of each other, using everything at their disposal.
Right.
Putting people through, the LED wall. It was just car crash fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to watch, honestly. The women's match before it, honestly, I would have been fine with the pay-per-view actually starting there, because for me it was a tale of 2 shows. So,
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was one man who was probably quote unquote hard on, because this is his type of match, his type of competitors, and that's Vince McMahon. He loved this match from start to finish. That is his type of match. And it was cool to watch because very rarely do we get a lot of matches like that, a three-way, three big dudes who really just kept a consistent pace. Like it was it wasn't clunky at all. And, it's been a while since I've seen the Titans rumble like that and it be entertaining and not sloppy and boring.
So where do you think they go next? Are we still going to keep seeing Drew in this title run trying to get it back, or should he go to the back of the line? Is Braun going to go back, or should we see someone brand new now step up on Monday? I know, right?
I mean, I don't want to see Drew continuously going back. I mean, but I have a feeling he's going to do that anyways.
So that goes to show you that, once again, what I've been saying for over a year now is true. Why those guys? Because not a single person just a second ago could say of anyone else that it would, this is who could wrestle Bobby Lashley now. No, and I think that's a huge point.
Yeah.
It would have to be with those three guys. I mean, that's all you got.
Yeah, they've literally booked themselves into a corner with it.
Yeah.
So, unless there is one
when's
person,
the draft again?
Well, before the draft, Sin City, here's one thing. There is one person who was on Raw that's been off for a while. And we might have to bask in his glory. He was on Raw and then he was off for a while. And, he might pop back through, and that's somebody you could throw at them. But to what degree? I don't know. I don't do booking.
So Vince McMahon is now going to put an investment into Keith Lee, who at this point, it seems like Vince has actually misplaced Keith's phone number. So it's like, I think right now, Vince probably thinks Keith Lee is the champion, knowing Vince's perception of things. Let's put it this way. The quicker they get the belts off of AJ and Omos, then Omos becomes your number one contender.
Okay, so this is where we could kind of tie in a little bit of Raw or even SmackDown. You're funny, Sin City. This is where you could kind of tie in some of what happened this week to kind of maybe help us out here. We have the return of Jinder Mahal.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ. That's helping us out.
Yes.
Hey, it's a possibility. It's a possibility that they can. Jinder was once the champion.
Amen.
I'm just saying they can have that.
Fuck it. You can't hinder the Jinder. I'm down.
And by the way, he's now got Veer and Shanky. Come on, he's got to stay. Come on.
I thought those were the Singh twins. They was on the same meal program as Jinder was, and that just got big.
Can you name those two little rascals again, please?
Was their name Veer and Shanky?
Shanky? I thought it was Sheiky.
Oh, Sheiky?
Is it Sheiky?
No, it's Shanky.
Okay.
Shanky?
It's just beautiful to hear you say Shanky, because it sounds like you're saying Spanky from the Little Rascals.
Oh my God. Anyways, you guys get me on the Japanese names. Now you're gonna get me on these names. Come on.
Hey man, I do find it funny that they rebrand these guys.
Right.
They had different names, obviously, for the two matches that they wrestled in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's Jinder Mahal with Beer and Stanky. Awesome.
Beer and Stanky, I like it.
So anyway, there is a possibility that could happen, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, but the problem is this. Okay. I mean, I don't remember the WWE ever having a championship that was that would have been an intergender match.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, have you heard about any championship being intergender? Intergender? Gender is
Jinder Mahal is intergender. What?
intergender.
Okay.
So what orifice do you enter in to get intergender?
All right. So
Through the
Then-
shanky.
Yes.
let's just move over to the main event.
Oh, that shit was brilliant.
Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. Man, this was everything I thought it was going to be. Excellent match. Again, it's one of those matches Roman's going to win, but you start to second guess going, is he? Because Cesaro is just that good in the ring and putting in that work. You're just like, man, I wish that whenever I guess you guys would probably say that Vince would never give Cesaro the title. But if there was ever a chance that he would get it, if they had in mind that they want him to eventually become, this is one of those matches I wish they would have saved to that moment. Even if that was 6 months from now or a year from now, however long that it was planning out, I think it would have been great to have saved that for that moment.
What?
So in other words,
You didn't hear
what? Hold on. Can I
Explain,
impact? Can I impact? From what I have ascertained from Mr. Impact, he believes that this match was of a high esteem caliber, that although we were entertained tonight on WrestleMania Backlash, it would have been better served at maybe a SummerSlam, because that type of match really, really should be top scale on a pay-per-view.
Well, what I'm saying is, whenever they was ready for Roman to give up that title, maybe it's not SummerSlam, maybe it's Survivor Series, maybe they say, you know what, next year's Mania. I know there's always been talk about him and Rock. I don't know what that's going to become, if that's even going to happen. But even if you say, okay, we're going to prolong this to go through, we're going to try to go through Rumble, then I would have loved then for Cesaro to get booked for that particular main event to actually win the title. If they were going, if they knew that they was going to give the title to Cesaro in a match against Roman.
Well, let me ask you this question, and I'm going to make it really quick. Match was excellent, but Sin City Steve, you had mentioned earlier about the draft. When the draft is coming up, we know it's coming up, right?
No, we don't.
We don't know if it's coming up. It may come up. We don't know.
It's completely arbitrary. They could make the draft next week if they wanted to.
Okay, so
Don't forget they did the draft later this year because
that is true.
of COVID.
That is true.
They might not pull the trigger right away.
Well, if they happen to pull the trigger, it for me would make more sense to have Cesaro get traded over to Raw. And if Bobby Lashley was still the champion, I could see him go up against him and take that title from him. And I'm big on Bobby Lashley, but as far as someone that's deserving of a title, as you stated, yes, Cesaro. I just don't think anybody's taking that belt off of Roman unless it's The Rock or unless it's somebody of that caliber.
Hey, before someone else jumps in, shout out to Mike in the chat. He says Cesaro needs more of a character reason to get the belt thrown on him.
Right
I just
on.
wanted to throw that in there.
That's exactly right.
Great point.
Yeah.
You guys are missing the even bigger point, and that is Cesaro looked strong in the match. And they had him choked out, so he
didn't tap
lose
out,
like in a pin or tap out or anything.
Yeah.
And then they had Seth Rollins bury his ass right after.
Yeah.
Not just Rollins. You also had Uce beat him down a little bit too.
The Uce thing was obviously, you start thinking, okay, Jimmy comes in, right? Then there's a little confrontation or something like that. So I think that was the setup. But the Seth thing makes no fucking sense, period.
That pissed me off.
So
it's like he's going backwards.
Yes. If you think that Cesaro is going to be champion,
it's not going to happen.
Huge. This was supposed to be Backlash, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, if you're going to continue, Seth, and you have the blow off at your backlash of their WrestleMania match.
Yep.
And they just basically reset the clock so those two could go at it for another 2-3 months.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. This definitely felt like a fuck you back to the mid card type of a beating.
Yeah.
You know what? You guys are right. I mean, that's a lot of odds to overcome. It's almost as if Cesaro would have to be Superman. I'll leave that there.
Too bad they won't pull the trigger on it.
No, they won't.
No, he needs to not be the Swiss Superman.
Right.
Maybe the Russian Superman, which is not the Swiss, because sorry, we love Swiss people. We think you are very intimidating and not passive aggressive or just say okay to everything.
Hey, do you think that now that Roman won this match, how about just the fact that he doesn't need to, I don't know what's the next pay-per-view, but how about he just don't wrestle at the next pay-per-view? He just says, I'm just not going to wrestle. And just have him off the card.
Was it Hell in a Cell?
I don't know what it's going to be, but why then just have him on? Let him skip one. Just let it go with the storyline that
Sure, go ahead. Just take the day off.
Yeah, just do the Brock Lesnar storyline.
They can't with them. That's where all their fucking eggs are all in the one basket with him. They should, but now.
I just think it would be great for him to say, fuck it, I'm not gonna, go ahead, because
it'd be great for him to say it, but I want to see Vince McMahon say, no, you're not gonna be on the pay-per-view.
Wouldn't be a good choice.
Vince is not gonna do that. That's his fucking cash cow right now.
He riding him extra hard.
Okay.
And by the way, you want to get the most out of this guy that you can right now, because in 2 years he's in Hollywood.
Yep.
100%. 100%.
Yep.
He gonna be up there doing movies with freaking Vin Diesel and Batista's ass and probably John Cena's punk ass. He gonna be up there, and he gonna do something with The Rock again.
Hey, let's.
What about that music though? What about that music? Now I know I might be under the rock. Was that premiered tonight or does that?
No, it was.
I think it was Friday, right?
It premiered a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, because I missed that one for whatever reason.
Yeah,
man, that music hit.
It's amazing.
My son was walking around poking his little chest like he's about to go doot on my ass. I had to sit his ass down. I said, "Calm your ass down." The true story. He's getting a little bold and shit. I'm like, man, I'll whoop your ass. No, I don't say that I would whoop my kid's ass, but I gave him a look though.
So,
no, I was just gonna say, there's a couple things because the card wasn't, overly large. There's a couple things we had no RK Bro on this show, so
nothing with Sammy, right?
No, of course, nothing with Sammy, nothing with the IC belt. That was kept off the show. That leads me to, please, can we get rid of Apollo Crews, please? Please. That was the longest motherfucking segment. It felt like it was just going on forever, just to give a goddamn fake medal to a giant monster who has to stand on a platform. And then we have to hear Michael Cole tell us how much taller he looks now that he's on a platform. No shit, genius. Thank God Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and everyone saved that segment. But it really goes to show that Big E, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn are stars. Apollo Crews is just fucking not a good actor. He's
First of all, I saw that and thought it was interesting because this motherfucker got a medal when Chewbacca didn't get a medal in The Last Hope, or in A New Hope. So he got something that Chewbacca didn't get. I'm just saying. I thought that was a cool little reference. I don't know if they meant to do that, but I saw the correlation. Two people who really can't speak but make noises and are very tall.
Dude, whatever you're smoking, please. I think if you can just share it amongst us, because
share it. It's a special blend, man. Special blend. Family secret. You got to come over to get some of what I'm smoking. You got to get in a rotation, bud.
Is there anything else, Raw or SmackDown? I mean, something major happened on SmackDown, right? Tag team.
Yeah, what new women's tag team champions? You got Natalya and Tamina. You know, the end was interesting because when Natalya went back in and got the Samoan dropped, all of a sudden the camera didn't catch the initial shot of Tamina hitting her with the splash, and you got that 1, 2, 3. But I thought it was interesting because I was like, oh man, someone fucked up, couldn't even see it. And luckily they showed the replay. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that the main roster is starting to do with their tag team women's division that NXT's already done within the first month of their tag team inception, working those titles, not being afraid to take them off some people. Just my opinion. I know Matt Michael's gonna be like, you missed the point. I get it. I do often.
No, I mean, the match itself was, we're already there. It's very surprising that they didn't do something more overtly, let's break up Nia and Shayna. The one of them cost the match or something like that. The bigger factor here is that Tamina never had a championship.
Yeah.
So, and if you haven't watched the Talking Smack, it's just her just losing her shit, man. It meant a lot to her.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
She's been in the WWE for over a decade.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a decade, and her finally getting a championship reign. It was really cool to see. So
yeah, because I remember when she came in with the Usos when they first got there. She was like in management capacity. Was she before that? She might have been before.
She was there before.
Yeah, that's when I noticed her. Shame on me, I guess, but that's what I remember when she came in with the Usos.
And you missed the pre-show match there, DJ. The Sheamus Open Challenge to Ricochet.
I didn't actually see it, so what was the outcome on that?
What do you think?
Yeah, Ricochet's the new U.S. champion. It's amazing. He's going places, and they did it on the pre-show too, so that everyone would see it.
They should have done that shit, so that way everybody started watching the fucking pre-show.
I totally was going to miss the first hour because I thought it was 5 o'clock. I was like, oh.
I thought so too. I thought it was going to be 5. That shit was started early.
But I just double checked. I just said, oh, let me just, at 4 o'clock, I turned it on just to make, but in my mind, I was thinking, don't they start at 5 though?
They started that this past year. So everything looks like it's a 4 o'clock start from this point on, which is great.
And then when you turn on Peacock, it shows that it's already been on for an hour because they're counting the pre-show. So I'm like, oh my God, I hope I didn't, I guess. All right.
Oh, one thing we missed on Raw.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was very important. Speaking about I believe is was it the Open Challenge again where
yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to see injuries, but thank God he got injured because it stopped that match. So saved me having to watch more of that shit.
Such an ass. It's horrible.
Damn.
Hey, but he ended up not having as serious of an injury as he thought. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't read up on it since Raw, but I remember seeing a couple articles saying it wasn't as bad as they thought it was. Am I right on that still, or?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is very good. So,
because it looked bad. It almost looked like his hip bone might have popped out or something. Because he was like, and then couldn't move his leg, and it just looked bad.
Oh, and there's another big thing that happened on Raw that we didn't get to, and that was Shelton versus Cedric.
That was actually a decent match. That was for Cedric Alexander until he lost because he was being stupid.
Well, no, the fact of the matter is he shouldn't have lost because why are you giving anything to Shelton Benjamin? The guy's, going to be AARP ready in about a year or so. And Cedric is the guy that you would want to build. But in their logic, let's have Shelton beat Cedric and then have Mike or have whoever who's the announcer now? What the hell's his name? That's what I thought. No one knows this guy.
I forget his name. I mean,
Verk.
Is it Verk?
Adnan Verk.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Adnan.
Whatever.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
he's 45 years old.
General Adnan. He actually said the grudge match finale. So this apparently was the finale, and you had Cedric lose, and now we are going to see probably Cedric and Ricochet and Mustafa again together. They might as well bring back Heath Slater, throw him in the mix, and then you just throw in Jinder and that McIntyre dude, because they all just could be put in that box and shipped off to somewhere else.
All right. Did we cover it all? Anything else?
Yet again, 3 hours of my life I can't have back on a Monday.
All right. Well, there was a little bit, some more wrestling happening this weekend. Impact Wrestling presents Under Siege. And that was on Impact's Plus. And they had a few title matches that went on. They had the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering. They are they came in as the champions going against Fire and Flavor. And Fire and Flavor got their belts back. So that's pretty interesting how, you give it to Jordan Grace and Rachel for 2 weeks, and then it went back to the original. So I don't know. But apparently that match right there was probably, there was probably 4 matches before they got into that one. And it was that match that kind of really got the show going. Let's just put it that way. And then from that point, it started to really get good. There was an X Division Championship match, Josh Alexander and El Phantasmo. And yes, Josh Alexander won. I mean, this guy is really awesome just to kind of watch him. You can see his talent when he was with Ethan and with the North. But now that he's by himself, I mean, he really gets to show his skills. And so shout out to him, man. It's great to see his work. Knockouts Championship match, Deonna Purrazzo versus Havoc. Of course, Deonna won that. But I'm gonna tell you, Deonna, man, she's just been looking really great in the ring. I'm not sure. I know I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys could fill me in. When she was let go, she was still developing in NXT, correct? Or was she already on NXT?
She was already on. Well, I'm not sure. That's a good question.
She
wasn't.
Yeah, she was PC.
She just wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, she is. Let me just put it this way. If she could really just jump on either AEW or WWE and be ready to get going from this point. Yeah.
Really?
I believe
on the
so.
WWE, where you have Charlotte, Becky.
I didn't necessarily say that she was going to be in a championship match with them, but as far as her talent being on those shows, absolutely. I think she'll fit right in.
I will say this because I kind of get what you're saying.
Wait, but how are you shaking your head when you ain't even watching her performances?
Because I am.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think that in the bubble of Impact, she looks good because she's in the bubble of Impact.
Wait, so you saying the Knockouts women is not a good division is for their women?
Rhea Ripley, Asuka. I mean, do you seriously want me to go on?
Well, no.
Okay.
Y'all both have good points. Y'all both have good points.
So if I name Lana, Naomi, then where do you put them on there then?
So you're talking about the person who's
No.
the Impact champion, and you just switched her out.
No, what I said was that
Naomi
she is
like
ready to get to be in either AEW or WWE to go right to the main roster. That's all I said. I didn't say she was ready to become champion. I said she was ready to go ahead and start to be a part of that. That's all I said.
She is nowhere near.
Okay, now that's my opinion, and that's yours, Mister. I've watched all of her matches, and I know you ain't seen shit. Go ahead, bro.
If you can put her in NXT, which she couldn't even fucking hold her own there, and got released. She's
but whatever. I don't know what she did in NXT.
In a company with the same type of competition. If you put her in AEW, she'd have a chance because they need fucking people.
Well, yeah, I agree.
But WWE, no fucking way she's ready for that.
I beg to differ. Go ahead, Simon Street.
I was just gonna say both of y'all have made some very solid points. Both of y'all got one thing that you probably could have hit on to solve that whole back and forth. Is in the AEW landscape, Matt Michaels, you are correct. She would favor way better from coming from Impact over to AEW because they do need some sound people to fill up in the void of the women's division. Now, with regards to WWE, would she be at the bottom like some kind of tilapia or catfish bottom feeder? No, I don't think so. Not even regardless. I think she would be a little bit below Nia and Shayna Baszler a little bit. You know,
a little bit.
Hold on. Let me finish, man. I'll get you. Hold your sauce, bro. Hold your sauce.
And that depends on what version of Shayna you even talking about, right?
Well, I'm talking
because
about
Shayna with Nia. Shayna with Nia is like whatever, but Shayna when she was the NXT champion was a beast. Go ahead.
No. And I'm glad you said that because you can't take what Peraza was on NXT. You can't take that. All right, it is what it is. It already happened. So we're not even gonna put that in the equation. But on Raw, she could mix well. Is she gonna immediately get a pop on her debut? Probably not. But she would be someone that would be good to add in the pot because when I think about her,
there are 10 other people in NXT who would be more deserving of getting moved up than this chick.
And that may be true, brother Michaels. But what I am saying is that we're not going to talk about NXT. I'm saying between AEW's main roster and WWE's main roster, Peraza, if she was in a WWE main roster, she would be somewhere around Shayna Baszler. She definitely is way better than the blonde girls with one got a weave, the other one with Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. She's definitely way more talented than freaking Carmella. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying that. I'm just saying it would have been cool. I'd be okay with it. She's gonna be better off in AEW. That's all I'm gonna say now. Now, please take your sauce, Michaels, and spread it all over everybody.
Well, look,
you was holding it in.
Let me just keep going with the show. There was your AEW, your Impact, your AAA champion Kenny Omega, and the Good Brothers versus Eddie Edwards and Finn Juice. And can you imagine who won that one? Of course, Eddie Edwards and Finn Juice, because the problems when you add the Good Brothers with Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers are the problem. So. You know what? I think I may see where this is going. And I guess overall, what's going to eventually happen is, I could be wrong. Maybe you could tell me Sin City where I'm going off the rails. Eventually, the Good Brothers are going to get tired of this shit, right? And they're going to end up maybe costing. Okay.
There's still another chapter in the story.
So that's the way. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
Omega needs to go back to New Japan first, and then after that, then everything will crumble around him.
So
are you talking about his old partner?
So anyway, that's what happened there, and then of course the 6-way number 1 contenders match, because now we got to find out who's going to fight Kenny Omega. You had Chris Sabin, you had Chris Bay, Sami Callihan, Matt Cardona, Trey Miguel, and Moose. And
who was Matt? Who?
You're gonna respect this man's name.
So disrespectful. You know what? Wasn't it just his birthday? When is his birthday? Like a couple of days ago or something like that. Happy birthday.
Oh man.
Happy birthday.
So and big shock. Moose won. So so I did a whole show on this, not gonna even talk about it, but here's the deal, right? So I guess the pay-per-view for that match, I guess Moose and Kenny would be against all odds, June 12th. That's what I have down. So Sin City, are you then saying that before that time, Kenny somehow is going to end up in New Japan to take the belt from Osprey before that match with Moose happening? Is that what you're saying?
The match. I mean, I don't know if it'll happen by. You said when was their match?
It's supposed to be June 12th.
No.
Right. I didn't think so.
It's not going to happen in the next month.
So
Omega's going to beat Moose. He's basically going to, continue doing his thing.
Yeah. And that's the problem.
Basically this summer is when the New Japan stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's at the earliest.
Got you. All right. So guys, if you get a chance, here are the thoughts that was in my head that I released Saturday on my thoughts on that, because it seemed like exactly what turned out is exactly my entire issue that I see that's about to happen. So anyway, that's how that I guess not pay-per-view, but event went down on Impact Plus. Overall, it was a good show. The first half was like whatever. The second half was pretty good. But now we are set up to know who Kenny is going to now fight. But we'll see where that goes from there. Let's move right on to AEW. And let me just say this, Sin City. Maybe you'll like this, okay?
I doubt it.
I actually, I enjoyed the show.
What?
The part where it really got, I was like, now see, this is where the bullshit comes in. And that's when you had the Pinnacle in the inner circle.
In the inner city.
Everything leading up to that, I was like, okay, I could dig it. And then you got to that, and I'm like, oh, here we go with that shit. But anyway.
Yeah, so wait, DJ.
Yeah.
Let's just rethink here for a second.
Okay.
That Steve sat there just rolling his eyes that there were zombies in the WWE. Yeah. Oh, AEW, they just go ahead and decide, hey, it would be great? No one's ever done this in wrestling. Let's take a big truck with a gun and that will squirt things that people can't get, they just fall and they go over and over. And yeah. And then, oh, wow, this is so original.
Right.
It's definitely not original.
No, it's been done with beer and
It's
milk.
definitely not original. You've seen this shit numerous times, and I pop for it every single time.
Oh, Jesus.
It's fun. It's totally fun.
Thank you for your
honesty. Seriously, one.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Thank you for your honesty.
Hey, no, the thing with the truck.
They weren't even getting wet, and they were just fucking.
Of course not.
Awful.
Wouldn't you do the same thing if it was you? I'd be floundering around all over the place just because it's fun. I got a lot of the bubbly. It's fun.
Oh my goodness. Well, tell us, Cincy, what did you like or dislike about the show?
So obviously, show started Moxley versus Nagata, IWGP US title match. Now, obviously, Yuji Nagata is looked at as a legend in Japan. Unfortunately, this clearly was a match done as a bit of a favor to Moxley, Nagata, and New Japan. Yes, it was the first time that the IWGP US Championship has been defended on TV in another company. But as far as that goes, this match, while it was obvious both guys did their absolute best, this was not the best showing for Yuji Nagata.
Well,
he's really starting to show his age. But dare I say, he'd be prime for a WWE run, considering what they've done with Shelton Benjamin and all those people as of late.
Yeah, but the only problem is that if you put him in the WWE, he'd probably been one of the zombies.
See, the thing. That's the thing is on Dynamite, they didn't have to have zombies in makeup. They had zombies that were in the fucking match.
In the flesh.
Yeah. Not painted up.
Yeah. It was good to see Taka wrestle, though. It's been a long time.
Jesus.
Well, I was just gonna say too, if he had went to WWE, Vince would have probably thought it was Funaki with a haircut.
Yeah,
indeed.
Like,
Funaki, is that you? I mean,
so one other thing, obviously of note, of course, Moxley had new entrance music,
which was
ridiculous. Tony Khan ponied up the money for Wild Thing. What was that, Michaels?
Ridiculous. Well, I want to hear why DJ thinks it was ridiculous.
Because why do I want to watch Moxley come out to that?
Because he's
wild thing.
He's wild.
You know the solo where they have the flute and shit? That shit be going down, man. That shit lit as fuck.
He should have came into his original music. That was ridiculous. You could have saved the money there, Tony.
It was worth it just to hear JR go, could that possibly be the Trogs?
Took him way back.
Anyone listening, like watching the show, like the 5 people, those of us who actually knew who the Trogs are, it was just like, it was so JR. And JR also got another great line in about Cracker Barrel chairs.
Oh yeah, he did.
So,
gotta love it, man.
Shit, I love it.
Now, obviously, it's been debated online whether or not this is going to be Moxley's new entrance music. I don't believe that it is. I think that Tony Khan had just paid for the licensing for this time. And anybody who knows Japanese wrestling knows that John Moxley was actually paying tribute to, Atsushi Onita, who came to the ring with Wild Thing blaring. Obviously Onita was just on their blood and, or not blood and guts, but their exploding ring match. He did the promo video where he kind of talked about the history of it. So I think that they're kind of leading to something involving Onita and Moxley, maybe. Just because why else would you have Moxley come out to Onita's theme in an IWGP US heavyweight championship match? So I think that the IWGP matches or the New Japan matches, that those will be the times when Moxley uses Wild Thing. The other AEW matches are when he's going to use the theme that was produced and created for AEW. So,
gotcha.
But yeah, elsewhere we had a Cody Rhodes promo.
Oh, yeah,
Lord
I forgot
have
about that one. That was the other bullshit before the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. But yeah,
tell me how you feel about this promo, Impact, please.
Wait, Steve, can you answer me one question though?
Yep.
Why didn't they come out with that cannon and shoot Cody?
The world may never know.
That would have made so much more sense and been actually fun.
Yeah. Impact, please indulge me.
Listen, I don't know. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I understand what was trying to be done, but I don't think that came out at all. And I don't know. I just wasn't buying any of it, but at least we do know that his baby is going to be black and white. So that's one thing that's...
Well, wait, so we think.
Oh, shit.
It could be a whole nother angle.
You telling me that's a whole nother angle? That's digging deep.
That would be awesome.
Yep.
I don't think, honestly, out of all the crazy shit Vince has ever done, he's actually never done something like that. So why not? Go for it. And by the way, did it not make you think that what we're going to see next from Cody and Brandy is her in the delivery room, right? And you know how like the father's supposed to be videotaping, but instead of videotaping her actually giving birth, Cody will have the phone on himself doing a promo about his kid.
And to
Like,
make it
what
even
the
better,
fuck?
he's gonna purposely cut his forehead so he could be bleeding for the whole entire monologue. Just out of nowhere, like, why are you bleeding?
My God, that's a placenta. A placenta. Jesus.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Ratings would be really good that night.
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, it was all leading to Cody saying that he's going to be wrestling Anthony Ogogo at Double or Nothing, and he's going to go by the American Dream Cody Rhodes for that night and that night only. Whatever. I mean, it was what it was. Honestly, it was a bit jarring hearing a professional wrestler speak about patriotism and things of that nature. Obviously, I'm a pretty big mark for that kind of stuff, so I didn't mind that. But obviously, that's not really anything that card isn't played that often anymore. So it was, like I said, it was a bit jarring to see that. Whatever. I mean, if you want to make this about the US versus the UK, sure. I don't know why, because it's not like as if there's a hostile relationship between the two countries. Deep down at the end of the day, it's just another way for Cody to get himself over. That's all.
Cody, listen, Cody's going to be going against the Hall of Famer, a newly minted Hall of Famer in the Go-Go's. So
pretty much. Now, speaking of Hall of Fame, Young Bucks versus SCU. Obviously, this match was for the AEW Tag Team titles. Also, the stipulation is the recurring stipulation that's been going, where the next time that SCU loses a match, that they have to disband permanently. And that is exactly what happened. We saw Chris Daniels get a pretty fucking crazy Muda scale blade job in this match. He was, to use the JRism, he was bleeding like a stuck pig. Jesus, man. Daniels lost about a pint of blood and ended up taking the fall. There was the mocking of the...
But Steve, we're not going to do that on TV anymore. Oh. Fucking
Wow.
Tony Khan.
Wow.
Yeah. Blood, baby, blood. It's like if Bill Alfonso was on coke.
So we just want to say at Vegas Badboyz, a podcast, and that we do not believe that Tony Khan actually does a whole bunch of fucking coke.
No shit.
We're just going to put that out there right now.
Expressed by the host of
Totally
the Vegas
just Matt
Badboyz
Michaels.
podcast. Oh Lord. So yeah, anyway, I thought this was a great match. I thought that this is definitely one that Chris Daniels, if this is truly the end for the Fallen Angel, this is a match that he can hold his head up high and say that he went out the way that he did. Great stuff by all four guys. Obviously there was the mocking, I'm sorry, I love you spot right before the super kick, which, garnered a lot of heat online. But all in all, I thought that it was pulled off masterfully. You knew exactly what was going to happen and what the outcome was going to be, but these guys allowed you to just roll with them and trust them that they were going to tell you a good story. Yeah, great stuff by these guys.
Really quick side note, Steve. So on Vice, with the new MLW contract, Vice has MLW Underground. And this week, it's on Saturdays. This week, the main event of that show, amongst other we got CM Punk on that show cutting a promo on how he would never go up north to that circus like Raven did. So there was some really, really good stuff. But
Nice.
the main event was Father James Mitchell in the corner of the fallen angel Chris Daniel versus Bill Alfonso, ironically enough, and Sabu and it was Sabu and Chris in a steel spike match. So I got to see Chris bleed twice in 1 week on national TV. And oh man. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
That guy.
A lot of blood. A lot of blood.
Yeah. He definitely made an impact on this business. So again, if this is the end for Chris Daniels, thank you for everything you've done.
Definitely.
So, all right. Also, we had Orange Cassidy versus Pac. Winner gets AEW World Title match at Double or Nothing. This was interesting, and expert job of calling things on the fly, because Orange Cassidy legit got knocked out midway through this match. The finish was supposed to be a schmoz with Omega coming out and clocking both guys. But they had about 20 minutes of match time earmarked for this particular match. Cassidy got injured, knocked out completely. If you were watching the picture-in-picture, you saw them frantically trying to call an audible on the fly. And dare I say, I mean, they came back from the commercial break, they framed it properly, and immediately Omega came into the ring, hit Pac in the back of the head with the AEW title belt. As far as improvisation and calling things on the fly can go, these guys did exactly what they needed to do. Yes, of course, the outcome is the exact same as what it would have been regardless, but that's how it should be whenever there's something that happens beyond unforeseen circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously at the pay-per-view, it is going to be Omega versus Pac versus Orange Cassidy. So that could be interesting. We'll see.
Not really.
I was just waiting on you guys to shit on it. So
sorry. He's already
because we already know the storyline that they've already written out for us when it comes to Kenny Omega. So
yeah.
I mean, it's like
Omega's not going to lose this title the exact same way Roman Reigns ain't going to lose the title on SmackDown.
The best part about it is that Don Callis seems to now be exclusively AEW, so you're going to be seeing a lot more of this, DJ.
Yep.
Right.
I was wondering if that was something that people picked up on. I think Mr. Callis's contract has expired with Impact.
Yep.
Take that as you will.
Good for him.
And then obviously, we already talked about the bubbly truck incident with the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. Obviously, MJF continues to cut great promos. Guy is he's awesome. Yeah, just far and away the best on this show. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you, was it ever figured out why the hell they used cardboard for that fall last week? Because now Chris is fucked up.
I was going to say the biggest thing that's crazy is everybody criticized the stunt. Oh, he landed on cardboard boxes. You could tell that it was a bullshit stage. He didn't land on concrete. And so everybody was just, giving this big rash of shit to AEW and to Chris Jericho for taking this bump. Little do they realize he actually fucked up his elbow in the process of taking that bump. So he has a shoot elbow injury. That's why he was wearing the air cast on his arm. That is a legit shoot injury. And it just sucks that obviously it was diminished because people were, talking shit about the way that everything was framed with that
It was
bump.
probably diminished because he wasn't acting hurt. He was acting like, hey, I did it. Is the camera on? Oh, it's still on? Oh. I think that's the problem. You know, if it's
DJ,
something really hurting you,
DJ, but you're missing. We got the answer though. The reason he was laughing is because he injured his funny bone.
oh, well, then there you go. Please continue then.
Michaels, you're on fire tonight, bro.
Oh, the hell is? What the hell is you smoking?
No shit.
Or eating? He might have been on the road before the pay-per-view.
And then, last but definitely not least, Darby Allin losing the TNT Championship to Miro in 15 minutes in what could really be described as just complete and utter destruction by Miro.
Right.
As it should have been from the beginning. This guy, we all said, this guy should be a monster. He should fuck up everything in his path. Well, they're finally going down that route, and he's fucking up everything in his path. So put on probably one of the most hardcore versions of the game over submission, the camel clutch. It's good that Darby is so good with DDPY, so he could get that kind of torque on his back and his legs. Made for a hell of a fucking visual, and Miro is your new TNT champion.
Which is sad in this regard. You just spent all these months building up Darby Allin as this fucking face of the company. Let's feed him to him now because, we fucked up with him before. It's just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
It's really funny to me that every major champion in professional wrestling right now are heels, except for the Mysterios, obviously, tonight, and Bianca Belair. But every single other champion in the higher end federations are heels.
Yeah.
And Mike
Gotta love
says
babyface challengers, huh?
and Mike says that Miro's shoulders were down during that submission, though.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah. That was very interesting. I wonder if they're going to actually bring that up, because then that could give you the opportunity to have a rematch, which
the same thing will happen again, right?
Yeah, but Sting gets involved. Sting comes in, man, and then he goes against Miro. And Miro wants Sting and Miro.
Thank you, God, that you muted out right when you peaked the microphone.
Yeah, that would have hurt many of ears.
Yeah.
So one thing that was funny is earlier in the day before this episode of Dynamite, ESPN happened to have Darby Allin on Sports Nation. And a visual that I didn't think that I would see is Charlie Caruso interviewed Darby Allin, who at that time was the TNT champion. So just kind of interesting little
things are moving.
Way that things went there.
Wow.
Did he take Charlie's lips on a skateboard ride?
Oh, shit.
I don't think that I'm not even gonna explain that. Leave that shit alone.
Okay, are you done, Sin City?
Oh, I'm done, bro.
All right. NXT, everyone's got their The Way shirts or not yet?
Mine is
you got your away. You got your away shirts already, don't you?
You gotta have The Way shirts. Come on.
NXT was cool. I felt like it was a solid night for the most part. Obviously the two big matches that I saw were obviously Raquel Gonzalez versus Martinez. That was a really solid match that from start to finish. Interesting enough, kind of how Impact kind of felt a little bit about Cesaro and having certain matches be for a bigger. I would have liked to see a better build because I think they only started kind of building like what was a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe. I would have liked to see a better build and then have a match, but hey, that's just my preference. Also outside of that too, you had Kushida versus Fantasma Part Dos, and that one was super sound. Again, it's just, I'm very happy because I've always had a fondness of the cruiserweight division, particularly from my time watching WCW and seeing, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Juventud Guerrero, Psychosis, seeing a lot of those guys. I always had a fondness for just the match style of it. And so seeing NXT and what they're doing with the cruiserweight championship is really, it's paying dividends, at least for my fandom. And this match definitely showcased that once again. NXT knows they just either have the time to really put stock in the cruiserweight division, or just the main roster is just too busy and it just gets lost every time. So, I mean, that was an amazing match. Obviously, Kushida still went on to hold the gold. Couple cool things that did happen. Obviously, I was joking before the show. Cameron Grimes, we're starting to find out how much money this man actually does have, because that auction house was getting up there in the millions. And of course, there was one person that, came out with that, as we all saw, was Ted DiBiase. So I hope they keep going with these every week, because these shits are fucking.
They tweeted out he's going to be on NXT this
awesome
week.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, because I'm totally digging it. And, Ted DiBiase looked amazing, man, for his age and everything. He looked amazing. Ain't lose a step or nothing. I mean, well, as far as, from the promo video we saw, that was pretty awesome. Another promo video that was pretty interesting that I really liked was Zoe Stark and what's going to happen in the rematch with Toni Storm. It was really, really sound. And again, with regards to Zoe Stark, when I see like Raquel Gonzalez and Martinez, every time I'm thinking, when is Zoe going to be up to bat? It only makes fucking sense. And I'm sure NXT understands that as well, because even with this video package that was for her and Toni Storm, I mean, she just looked confident. She didn't look like somebody that just popped up on the show 2.5 months ago. You see what I'm saying? So, and everything's lined up. All they need to do is just let her ride, and she's just going to take it to the top.
Too bad Deonna Purrazzo's not there to show her place.
Well, real quick, because you poking, let me reflect back and tell you, if Deonna Purrazzo did end up on NXT, she definitely wouldn't be in front of the line of Zoe Stark. And I'm saying that with confidence. I'm just being real. No disrespect to
Well, you
Purrazzo.
wouldn't have to worry about that, because Deonna Purrazzo would skip NXT right onto the roster of WWE or onto AEW. So you wouldn't have to even worry about NXT.
You actually might be right, man. I'm gonna leave it at that, because you over there getting real piped up over that. Other than that, I mean, there were some forgettable moments. I know we talk about certain moments, but a forgettable moment was that goddamn squash match between Pete Dunne and fucking Leon Ruff. Like, bruh, I know you feeling some kind of way, but first of all, you can't go up. One thing we learned about this NXT week is don't be fucking with Regal's shit on his desk. All right, don't be doing shit like you're gonna piss the boy off. All right, so I think we learned that between little boy Ruff talking about he got a dream to have a match or some shit, and then you had later on with Gargano coming there about ready to touch some shit he ain't supposed to. Y'all fucking with Regal, he gonna pop off on your asses. Anyways, that's just my take on it. One thing I'm gonna point out and see what you guys think. All right, so they had a little thing with Alexander Wolf, right? He's in the medical, they're talking to him, and all of a sudden your boy's talking about nonchalantly, like, I can't compete today. Last week he was talking about he can't compete again. Anyways, I'm seeing a trend, and he talking about, ain't gonna tell his boys what the fuck it was, but you gonna ask the doctor, and the doctor said he got stomach issues. I don't know. Something seems fishy, and maybe it's not just what he ate, because that's definitely going to be something coming down the pipeline with regards to that NXT. And I'm liking the smell of fish if that's the direction we're pulling. All right. Other than that, I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being honest. There might be some.
And no one has never said that they enjoy the smell of fish. That's all that is.
Well, if they pull in that direction, that's some good smelling fish. That's all I'm saying. All right.
I got you. All right.
I'd go further about certain things that shouldn't smell like fish, but I digress. So anyways, last thing I'm going to say with this, and I will leave NXT alone and y'all chime in and do what the hell y'all want, is I didn't understand why Kyle O'Reilly needed to have a match. Like I'm not really feeling the whole Kyle O'Reilly push just yet, but the match was pretty cool. And at the end, you got to see a little bit of brotherly understanding. Bobby Fish came to his aid. He was about to get rough shop. And I like the exchange that they said. I like that, O'Reilly was saying, hey, I'm trying to do my grown man thing, do this on my own. And then old man Bobby Fish said, man, I get it too. I got some scores to settle. Bobby Fish looked pretty good. I mean, he like he's going to pop out of these skinny jeans he was wearing, but, he looked pretty good. And so I like that little understanding. That was a little sentimental thing that kind of happened between the two of them. So that was NXT in a nutshell. I'm sure Michael's going to say, but you missed the best part. And this is where Michael's will tell me that.
No, I'm still pondering the fact that you've now been talking about Fish for the last 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, with Fish and Bobby Fish, yes.
And not only that, Chris said that that I should have Simon talk to my wife the next time I piss her off. I need someone to fade the heat off me.
Well, hey, brother,
you got
if you pay and slide that check, because by the next morning you're gonna be eating your cereal and your wife gonna give you all the respect.
Oh boy. All right. We want to talk. Is that it? You want to mention NXT or?
That's it. I'm good.
Okay.
No, Theory looked really good against Cross.
Yeah,
that was forgettable.
That wasn't forgettable. That was actually a big setup because that Gargano's losing that title most likely to Bronson Reed, which means that Gargano will probably end up unexpectedly backing his way into a fight against Cross, which
That'll be fun.
I did love to see their expressions after the entire entrance came through with Cross. That look on their face was just awesome. I love it. They're great. Gargano's great. Okay. So there was no ROH this week. So yeah, they must have took a bye. So I went to the TV and nothing was there, and I double checked and they didn't have anything. So let's just quickly move over to New Japan, which really the only thing I was going to mention. And Sin City, if you wanted to add something else, you could do that. But apparently it was announced on Friday that they will be postponing both their Yokohama Stadium and Tokyo Dome Wrestle Grand Slam shows that was scheduled for later this month, May 15th and the 29th. And the announcement comes on the heels of Japan's current state of emergency. So they are
working. Is it a Godzilla attack again?
Oh.
Because they just got over that Kong Godzilla thing. So I'm hoping.
You're going to have to go sit in the corner, man. But anyway, they are working for to finalize the new dates. And of course, the main event at the Tokyo Dome was to see Will Ospreay defend his IWGP World Heavyweight title against Kazuchika Okada. All right.
God bless you.
Thank you. All right, Sin City, did I get that right or anything to add on what's going on over there?
I think that the link that you sent over for this links to lastwordonsports.com. And I know that we talk a lot of shit about the journalists that we get for 3 count articles sometimes. Yeah. But
I think they might actually be on 3 count. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
What's that?
I was about to say, I think they're going to actually be on the next 3 count too, but I'll.
Good. So this writer gave me the honor of linking to a Will Ospreay tweet, which was actually a promo where he announced that those 2 shows are being postponed. And then you could see that was him speaking in a shoot. And then he gave it a pause and then insinuated that Kazuchika Okada not just went to New Japan, but also went to the Japanese government and urged them to cancel the 2 shows so that he didn't have to wrestle against Ospreay. Wow. That was fucking awesome. And thank you to this writer of this article for putting that out there. Scott Edwards Yeah, good shit. Definitely recommend going and checking out some of the stuff that Ospreay's done. Not just his in-ring stuff. I think that a lot of people only focus on his in-ring work and almost forget that the guy is a great promo. So do yourself a favor, go check out some of Ospreay's promo work as well.
So let me ask you, after his match against Okada, I guess then he's going to win that match, we should assume.
Yep.
Then that's when Kenny's going to fight Ospreay? Is that when that comes in?
Either that, or I think that I don't know if they would want to have Omega come back to take the title from Ospreay. So I don't know if they were going to ship the title back to Kota Ibushi or another babyface champion just to hold it for a couple of months. New Japan isn't really they're not known for shotgunning their titles and moving them around all that much. But I don't see necessarily Omega as a heel going back to Japan and wrestling another heel to take that championship.
Right. Okay.
So
DJ wants that belt, like, to finally just happen so that he can get this Impact Championship back.
Not just the Impact Championship, but also the TNA Championship too.
Yeah. Which means so much more to him.
Oh yeah.
God. Leave me alone. All right. Okay. Thank you for that, Sin City, for New Japan update. All right. FSW, guys, Future Stars of Wrestling's here in Las Vegas. If you're not familiar, we actually have the owner on a show every Wednesday, the DeFalco Files. Is really good stuff. If you haven't listened, we urge you to do that. But they had an event that went down this weekend, and Matt Michael's going to give us some information about it. So it's local wrestling, but still, this is where the stars are born. And at some point when you become fans of someone you see on your TV, there is a good chance that they could have stepped foot into a Future Stars of Wrestling ring. So anyway, Matt Michaels, tell us how it went down this past weekend.
Well, let's first say that GCW was in town. Game Changing Wrestling was in town, and so that meant that we're able to see some competitors that you don't necessarily see all the time because they were here. We got it's really some good wrestling. The main event was Hammerstone versus Jordan Oliver, which it's times like this. Jordan Oliver is a very good wrestler. But he looks, in comparison, like he's an independent wrestler. Hammerstone looks like he is, ready to just slip right into an actual, Friday night show or a Wednesday night show or a Tuesday night show or Monday. He's ready. So it was a great match. And Jordan Oliver held his own against Hammerstone. Really, really good work between the two of them. The GCW fans that were there to see their boy, we're definitely chanting fairly loud, and had a nice little back and forth going on between the two sides. Which, again, being that you are finally getting audiences back that are more than 10 people, it's definitely, you can see that everyone's bringing up their game just a little bit. The semi-main event was this I don't know if anyone's heard of this guy. He goes by Leo Rush. I don't know if anyone's familiar with him. He was pretty good. I was kind of impressed by him. I don't know. The NXT might have their eye on him at some point, but who knows? He went against Trey Lamar, and it was phenomenal. Those two just really, really just brought it. Lot of good fucking stuff in that match. So the very strong two main events, but the show stealer was the Unguided defending their belts against one bad bitch, which was Jay Vidal. Product had some other things going on, so he couldn't be there. So taking Prada's place was Eli Everfly, and holy crap, just wow, just some great stuff. But if you're very much familiar with independent wrestling on the West Coast, Hyperstreak, after the match, that Unguided wins the match, and Jay Vidal is in the middle of the ring. Eli is outside the ring. Hyperstreak comes in, and we didn't know it was him at first. And boy, the kendo stick shot that Jay took, man, that thing exploded like a fucking baseball bat that just hit a fastball. It was just massively nasty how fucking just snap that thing went. And took off his little mask there. It was Hyperstreak, and man, he's now a baddie. So yeah, just top to bottom, a lot of great stuff on the card. You can hear more about it on this week's DeFalco Files. And that's what went down on FSW. And then GCW ran Saturday nights, and we have just a little brief thing that we can take a look at here, which be a little idea of some of the stuff that you could have seen at GCW.
What's up, Vegas Badboyz crew? This is Desert Shark here. We are live at Meet Las Vegas for GCW Ante Up. This is going to be fucking great. This is going to be fucking awesome. And the fans are just coming in right now. As you can see here, the fans are here. They're ready. And let's get it on.
And there you have just a little bit of what was going on. But the biggest thing is that John Moxley did come out at the end of the show and went at it with Nick Gage for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I suppose that Moxley definitely spends his Saturday nights just driving around the city looking for a fight to just get into. So,
Of course.
Beats being at
Yeah.
home, I guess.
but I'll give you a shocker. Nick Gage, he bled.
No shit.
Yeah, it there you go, kids.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now I was just reading a comment from Sean. He said the entire Vegas crew, top to bottom, showed the world that they deserve to be in the conversation. So, yeah, we good stuff. Good stuff. We want to thank our correspondent, who's also on our chat, who says, "Hey, that Desert Shark guy looks familiar." Hey, man, we appreciate you, bro. You did your thing. Good stuff. So before we end the show, and after this, we have our recording for a 3 count. We cannot let go past another wrestler that we lost this Friday, actually, and it was definitely a big shock to me, and I'm sure to you all as well as it started to come out. And I know him as New Jack, and I didn't know him as Jerome New Jack Jones, but I definitely knew him as New Jack. And I tell you, my very first time seeing New Jack was XBW in Los Angeles. Man, when was that? 90s? Yeah, it's got to be in the 90s.
No, it was the early 2000s.
Okay, early 2000s. Okay. Yeah. And let me tell you, when he comes out with that shopping cart and all the things you see in that cart, you're like, it's about to be a problem. Okay. And I always felt sorry for whoever was about to get in the match with him because, dude, he didn't care. Okay. You're talking about someone who really just loved to entertain and loved the business. He was the guy. And, you know, if his name was on the card, you know that you were going to get a show. Oh, New Jack gonna be there? Oh, okay. You know, in fact, you go, I want to get a front seat, but at the same time, I don't want to do 2 things. I don't want to piss him off, and I don't want to get blood on because, you know, either one of those 2 things could happen in a New Jack match. So yeah, it was very sad to hear the news. His wife apparently gave the information, I believe it was to PW Insider, and condolences to the family. We're all going to miss him. I mean, this one's a hard one, but I'm gonna pass it over to you, Matt Michaels. I know you also was a part of the LA scene as well, and maybe even attend some of the XBW. We can have stories on just that promotion along, even before he even jumped onto ECW. But yeah, you have anything you want to add to that?
No, you know, not to a large extent. I think that
Sure.
everyone, you know, is very. If you're a wrestling fan, you do know who New Jack is. The I'd say one of the best moments of New Jack was in Beyond the Mat when he's going in to see the Hollywood casting director.
Right.
And it's just phenomenal because you could basically kind of see the polite terror in their eyes of this man. And them not wanting to say that maybe he's not the best actor, or maybe he can't make it in this profession because they're afraid they'll die if they say something wrong.
Right.
The
Yeah.
biggest thing about New Jack is that he caused a lot of controversy and a lot of different opinions about him throughout the years.
Mhm.
But if you really want to see the best tribute to a guy like New Jack, it comes straight from Paul Heyman. And again, I urge you to watch
Yep.
Talking Smack. It is one of the best 2 to 3 minutes, just summarizing what New Jack meant to ECW. And you bring up XPW, but you didn't get to XPW until ECW was done, essentially.
Okay.
ECW became this mix of hardcore and real wrestling, so luchador or Japanese strong style and hardcore was not something that was seen on American television. And when you look at some of the people, you look at a guy like Raven or Tommy Dreamer or Sandman, they're characters, right? You're never feeling fear. With New Jack, you just didn't fucking know.
Right.
That was the thing he brought. He brought an element of danger that was real as compared to, feeling safe. Like you said, you don't want to sit in the front row because you don't want to get hurt or you don't want to get blood on your clothes. And that was possibly going to happen. Unfortunately, one of the most famous things he's known for is the mass transit incident. And again, I have a hard time saying that was anything that New Jack was at fault for, because when you're underage and you don't have training, you probably don't want to get involved in getting yourself booked into a match with New Jack. And I think a lot of misconceptions started from that point on,
right?
Because that's when reality was totally blurred by people, because that's when the attention got really shined onto ECW, and he became a nationally known tabloid type persona.
Right.
So it really kind of changed things. And when really New Jack kind of it was part of the Gangsters. The Gangsters was the tag team that just did all this crazy shit.
Right.
But then once that kind of happened too, the Gangsters kind of gave away just to New Jack. And New Jack sometimes was known for maybe not showing up at a show. There were encounters over the years, people that he might have had relationships with and stuff. So there were just, there was all this negative stuff out there, amongst a totally different side, which was all these different positive stuff, because he really was a really nice guy, man. And that's the saddest part, is that a lot of times you don't see these performers for being the human beings they are. You only see the characters they portray, especially a guy like New Jack, who wanted you to just know that he was that guy.
Right.
And it's sad, because at 58, I think a lot of people too might say that in the end, for New Jack, 58, that was like he was 98, because at any point in his career he could have easily have died that night.
Yep.
And he would have been fine with it, because that's what he did. So
hey, can I just interject for a second? Sean asked a question, and he asked it for you, Matt. He says, do you think the mass transit incident led to some of the other incidents because in New Jack's mind, that was the gimmick he had to live up to now? Or was it all just that was New Jack? I would love to hear your take.
I think that that's New Jack first. And then when the intention got put on it, now I think he felt like he had to elevate it, because now you had an even bigger expectancy, because initially, you got to think about it. ECW, unless you grew up on the East Coast, was a trade tape company. So a lot of people really got their first taste nationally of New Jack by seeing that on the different like Current Affair and the shit that was covering it. So now it really became, in all honesty, a black man being shown on these televisions that were going into the houses of the white people who thought, oh my God, protect your sons and daughters. This guy's a crazy guy. So I think it enhanced. But, you know, I think that Beyond the Mat, when they did that with him, I believe it was in 1998 that they did this casting director thing. You could see that he could, you know, kind of transcend and just kind of pull back the character a little bit. And when he did that, you could still tell that that was part of his persona. I don't think he fed us any bullshit in terms of, you know, this is who he was. But I think it definitely got amped up to the next level with that whole incident. And led to a fabulous, you know, and ultimately timely episode of Dark Side of the Ring. And I know that in 3 Counts, we'll be talking a little bit about that show itself. So I'm sure New Jack's name will probably come up here on that show as well. But no, that's a great question, Sean. And in some ways, the question I would throw back at Sean, which I would find fascinating, is if Damian Drake was at the same point of New Jack at his, you know, their paths crossed at the time New Jack was at his height, would you have been afraid for your son? That's an interesting, because I can only imagine being a parent of a wrestler, knowing that your child was going to wrestle New Jack. Unless you knew him, I just wonder what that kind of would instill in, like, oh shit. Because there's
like,
a lot
what
of guys,
are you going to look like after the match?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
because it will be paid for in blood.
Right. The guy you think of now is Nick Gage. Nick Gage is absolutely the kind of person you look at and you know, you go. So, you know, there's so much to psychologically think about in terms of what he brought to the business and what he you know, gave in entertainment for all of us who, you know, we didn't see a lot of that kind of shit, you know, jumping off of 25 feet platforms and stuff like that, and ECW having to literally turn their cameras away from it because you didn't know if someone was about to die.
Right.
We definitely added the appeal to what was ECW at the time. I mean, there was a whole list of guys. And I remember when I first moved to Las Vegas in 96, and I remember it would come on UPN. I think it was the channel. And I had it in my room, and my parents didn't know I was kind of watching it because my sister would pop in and out, and she a snitch. And I remember those are the reasons why you watch ECW. And he was a huge part of that. Huge part of that. He'll be greatly missed. Real talk.
Cool. Did you want to add anything, Sin City, or?
There was definitely nobody like him. I can attest, being an ECW fan. ECW ran several shows in the state of Ohio. And I was fortunate to be at every ECW show that they ran in my home state. And when Natural Born Killers kicked on, you knew that shit was about ready to get crazy. And there was no experience like it. As a fan, you didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. And that, I honestly, you know, I think that there are a lot of fans that may have gotten into, you know, ECW because of, you know, the sensationalism that New Jack brought. So I think that despite New Jack never appearing on WWE TV, despite his name never being mentioned on WWE TV, I think that he definitely had a long-lasting impact on the business.
Absolutely. So if any of you, if you have the opportunity, they have set up a GoFundMe page for New Jack. Just go to the website, and if you do a search for either New Jack or Jerome Jones, the page will pop up. As of 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, they were at about 10,000. They're asking for 50,000, and of course, it's very costly to go to prepare for burials and all the things that it takes for that. So if you're able to donate anything, please do. I see people in there giving as much as $5, which that they're very happy and grateful for, and for those that are giving up to 1,000. So whatever you're able to give, I'm sure it will be appreciated, and we would definitely miss New Jack, and thank you for everything you've done in this business. With that, we're about to end wrestling talk. We're going to start a 3 count. If you're watching this right now, we're going to be right back for this recording. And with that, we thank everyone for hanging out with us. It's always good, as always, to see all of you in the chat. So with that, we hope to see you back in just a second. If you're downloading the podcast, thank you for listening. And don't forget to download Tuesday's episode of 3 Count. It's going to be a really good one, all right? With that, I'm out.